Millions of Chinese people are drawn to work as social media influencers, but many of them are accused of being willing to do anything for online fame, even if it means fabricating stories or putting their lives at risk. Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell, and big news! After a lot of hard work, we have officially launched our new premium website over at ChinaUncensored.tv. YouTube has been censoring our content for more than 7 years. We can't stop them. But now we have a way to provide you with truly uncensorable videos. This new website has exclusive episodes that we won't be uploading to YouTube or anywhere else. It's only for our subscribers. And when you subscribe, not only will you get extra premium episodes on a regular basis, you'll also be supporting our continued efforts to expose the CCP on YouTube and elsewhere. Yes, we will continue to publish videos here on this YouTube channel, and we won't be removing anything. But when you become a paying subscriber at ChinaUncensored.tv, you'll get lots of cool benefits you won't get anywhere else, like premium videos, exclusive live streams, a way to chat directly with me and the team, and more. The link is below. With your help, we can keep China uncensored. Now, on with the show. The Chinese internet might be one of the most heavily censored places on the planet, but you can still find some pretty crazy stuff there. Like this woman that recorded herself eating pig's feet for a week to show a way to live as cheaply as possible. Or this internet celebrity that seemed to always end up with raw eggs and water on her no matter where she goes or what she does. Or this vlogger who posts videos of himself smacking around a guy with dwarfism. While offensive, this is a perfect visual representation of what communism does to the people living under it. It's this kind of thing that has people in China buzzing about how influencers and live streamers are willing to go to increasingly extreme lengths to get attention. It's pathetic. I mean, what kind of attention-seeking narcissist would try to make an entire career out of being known on the internet? But why do Chinese influencers feel the need to go to such extreme lengths to get attention? After all, with users on social media in China having exploded to nearly 1 billion by 2022, you would think there's plenty of attention to go around. On top of that, China's social media users today have more and more reasons to spend an increasing amount of time online, as a wide selection of Chinese platforms have sprouted in recent years, like the Chinese version of TikTok, Douyin, the Instagram-similar Xiaohongshu, and the Twitter-like Weibo. Notice how I didn't mention a Facebook knockoff? That's because it's for grandparents, and Chinese grandparents are too busy getting swole, more like social media. Yet as social media users on new social media platforms have surged, so has the number of Chinese content creators, with one communication agency estimating that there are around 10 million influencers in China as of this year. Fun fact, the collective noun for a group of influencers is an exhaustion, or at least it should be. Today, Chinese content creators provide everything online, from makeup tutorials to dragon boat racing competitions to videos of the release of fast-moving turbo birds. I never knew how much I needed this. So as the field of online influencers has gotten crowded, some have apparently turned to more and more staged and radical content in order to stand out. Take this guy, for example, going by the name of Xiao Huxing online. He's a streamer with about 60,000 followers on Douyin, who mostly posts about air travel services in China. Last month, he recorded himself at an airport in Shenzhen, going ballistic on a volunteer wearing a mask, which he demanded that she remove immediately. Xiao Huxing can be heard shouting, "What gives you the right to wear a mask? What gives you the right not to take it off?" I guess when you're obsessed with getting attention, you can't imagine someone wanting to remain anonymous. He even tried to forcibly remove her mask and challenged her to call the police. Although this incident didn't exactly paint Xiao Huxing in a flattering light, it generated a lot of online traffic, which translated into 3,000 new followers for him, as anyone that wanted to leave a comment on his account, whether positive or negative, had to follow him first. I feel like social media sites should show followers in two separate columns, like followers and hate followers. Show us that ratio. Less than 2 weeks later, the debate about attention-hungry influencers gained additional fuel when it was announced that a well-known influencer with the online name Xiao Nuli Shenghuo was arrested by the authorities along with her mother and 2 others. Before the arrest, 18-year-old Xiao Xiao had been streaming regularly about her tragic life story. She shared how she had been abandoned by her biological parents as a child and been adopted by a woman who herself had lost her child in a fire. But according to Xiao Xiao, her adoptive mother had since become mentally ill. She can sometimes be seen in the background of Xiao Xiao's videos holding a chicken and talking to herself. At the same time, Xiao Xiao's adopted father was refusing to help, resulting in them living in poverty. The heartbreaking story drew hundreds of thousands of users to Xiao Xiao's accounts, where they donated money and bought products that she was selling. There was just one problem. Apparently none of it was true. According to Chinese media, about 6 months in, the authorities discovered that Xiao Xiao's alleged adoptive parents were actually her biological parents. She was 29, not 18, and her mom had just been pretending to be mentally ill, which anyone who knows anything about mental illness could have seen coming a mile away. Really, holding a chicken. Sadly, there have been even more explosive ends to some influencer careers in China. In late September, a female motorcyclist with about 80,000 followers on Douyin died after the motorcycle she was a passenger on collided with a car so violently that she was flung several yards through the air before landing on the road with a cracked helmet. Her name was Yang Huizi. She was one of many female influencers that post videos of themselves riding motorcycles, sometimes at insane speeds, and often wearing very little protection aside from a helmet. And when I say very little protection, I mean very little protection. That also means that Yang Huizi is unfortunately not the first motorcycle influencer to die in recent years. Between late 2022 and late 2023, 7 of them lost their lives in violent traffic accidents. So why do so many Chinese influencers and live streamers seem willing to engage in sometimes humiliating, deceitful, and even life-threatening activities to gain an online following? Well, with online traffic comes money, and the more traffic you can generate, the more money flows your way. Last year, a top influencer like e-commerce streamer Qi Laoban, who has around 6 million followers on Douyin, reportedly made around $37 million. While cosmetic guru Li Jiaqi, with his 75 million followers on the livestream platform Taobao Live, made over $250 million in 2022. I'm not jealous in the least. Nope. Not at all. Obviously, few influencers can compete with that. But even those that manage to amass around 1 million followers on Chinese social media can earn a few $100,000 a year from things like advertisements and paid content. Man, it's crazy. So many people would be interested in this with how great the Chinese economy is doing right now. Just look at how optimistic everyone is about their future. So there's a lot of money to be made from those that can carve out a space for themselves on Chinese social media. And sometimes all it takes is a smartphone and a good idea. That's pretty enticing, especially these days when a lot of Chinese people are struggling financially, and the state of the Chinese economy has many feeling like the country is in a recession. And studies do in fact show that the online streaming industry has a strong appeal, at least among young Chinese people. A survey conducted last year that included responses from nearly 10,000 recent Chinese graduates shows that nearly 62% were open to emerging professions like live streaming, while only around 38% said that they preferred more traditional career paths. Which makes sense. Why grind trying to end up in a dead-end career you may never even be able to get into when you can do this? Seriously, I love this. It's not exactly a shock that Chinese graduates are willing to look beyond traditional professions for career opportunities, given that unemployment among Chinese youth has stayed elevated ever since China emerged from the COVID pandemic. And the situation could soon get much worse, as China is on course to see 12.22 million Chinese students graduating next year, a record high. At this rate, colleges might as well start offering classes in Boob rabbits on bikes, because that's looking like a more realistic career path. At the same time, more traditional professions have been wrecked by one wave after another of crackdowns launched by the Chinese authorities. For example, China's tutoring business was hit in 2021, around the same time as the gaming industry and the wider tech sector. But egg watering is still totally unregulated. Then, a few years later, the hammer fell on the Chinese healthcare sector. The mood around some professions has gotten so bad that even Chinese bankers are giving up their careers in finance and reportedly turning to stand-up comedy. Do you know how bad the economy has to be for bankers to sit through an open mic night and think, this is where the real money is? That's despite the fact that stand-up comedy has also been subjected to its own crackdown since last year, because I'm pretty sure a sense of humor is one of the CCP's horcruxes. But with so many Chinese sectors and industries decimated by Chinese authorities, there is still one place where this kind of destructive, despotic fervor can be harnessed. Yep, you guessed it. Social media. Enter China's nationalistic bloggers and vloggers. Using their social media accounts, they often target people and companies that they deem to be harming or undermining the Chinese nation, with the ultimate sin being a lack of patriotism. I have to imagine they're big fans of this channel. Maybe they can give me a hate follow. This focus on patriotism shouldn't be terribly surprising, given the way the Chinese government has repeatedly called on Chinese people to be more patriotic in recent years. Earlier this year, Chinese water bottle company Nongfu Spring was engulfed in a patriotic firestorm on social media when nationalists attacked one of the company's logos, which they claimed didn't depict a Chinese feature, but rather Mount Fuji in Japan. They also railed against this logo on one of the company's green teas, which was accused of displaying Japanese architecture instead of Chinese. If someone you know gets furious because of the picture on a water bottle, ask them what it's like having literally no problems in their life. The attack spread to the company's owner, Zhong Shanshan, who had his loyalty to China questioned because his son reportedly holds American citizenship. It's rare that one Chinese company gets to be the victim of both China's anti-Japanese and anti-American sentiments, but there it is. And just like with extreme social media stunts, there's online traffic to be tapped with extreme Chinese nationalism, because this is just another grift from another exhaustion of influencers. Chinese ultra-nationalist Sima Nan had accumulated more than 44 million followers across his various social media accounts, while political commentator and former editor-in-chief of Global Times, Hu Xijin, has garnered around 25 million followers on Weibo. And with their nationalism closely aligned with the political leanings of the Chinese government, they're protected from repercussions in a way that the Chinese private sector or other fame-chasing influencers aren't, especially the girls on bikes who weren't protected from the laws of physics. Yeah, nationalistic influencers, totally safe. I'm just kidding, the CCP goes after them too. Sima Nan was recently silenced on Chinese social media after announcing his support for Donald Trump, while Hu Xijin just returned from a 3-month hiatus after he seemed to misjudge the government's economic strategy in a comment. I guess a Chinese shutdown can hit even the dearest ones. While I think censorship is a bad idea, it's really hard to get too mad at the story of a CCP shill influencer being silenced. Still, on Chinese social media, there are clearly many different avenues to fame and fortune for those chasing the attention of China's vast pool of users. But as social media work looks set to continue to draw in more Chinese people, the downsides might very well be ignored in the fierce struggle for online traffic and the livelihood that comes with it. Even when the downsides includes being silenced by the government, being arrested for living a lie, or whatever happens to your stomach after eating cheap pig feet for a week. And instead of clicking to the next video, head over to our new premium website at ChinaUncensored.tv. We have all sorts of awesome perks for our paying subscribers. And for all of you who contributed $15 or more last month to our Give, Send, Go fundraiser, we've sent you an email with a discount code that covers your entire first month's premium subscription, or 10% off an annual plan. And for people who gave $50 or more, you've already gotten an email about your other rewards. More info is in the description below. So head over to ChinaUncensored.tv and become one of our first premium subscribers. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you on the other side.